Dang, my hands are...
It says it's, like I said, maybe that's just like paper taped to it. Always 73. Always.
We call this meeting to order for the Board of County Commissioners, Fremont County. I would invite you to rise for invocation with Father Perez from St. Michael's Church, followed by a Pledge of Allegiance.
Thanks for the honor of being able to offer this prayer. Thank you. Let us pray. Lord our God, in whom we trust, we are grateful for the natural beauty and grandeur of Fremont County and the citizens and residents with whom we abide. We are gifts to one another by your providence and the goodness of your plan for us. May we be worthy and faithful leaders who see and work for what is the common good, even beyond our own ideologies, economic concerns, and personal gain, always standing for the higher goals of fullness of life and liberty for each person and all of us together. May we be enlightened by the democratic ideals with which we have been entrusted, always striving to do what is right in the genius of our Republican government, that we may be pleasing to you. Bless the work of our hands, and may the challenges we face in governance never overwhelm us, but call forth our gifts in new ways and in cooperation in this great community we share. We ask this of you, who are our light, our salvation from our limitations and pride, and are the true authority over all. Amen.
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 Thank you very much.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Payne,
Present.
Commissioner McFall,
Present.
Commissioner Bell,
Present.
County Clerk Barr,
Present.
County Attorney Jackson,
Present.
County Manager Bryant, present, Planning and Zoning Director Koch.
Present.
Next, we'll turn to the approval of agenda. Would like to note that on today's agenda, on number 7 of new business, is a continuation of public hearings that were set for today. We actually rescheduled those for March 13th. There's 2 of them there. If you're here for those public hearings, that will be on March 13th. Anything else?
Mr. Chair, I also would like to note that under consent agenda today, we are scheduling another public hearing for March 13th. That is an optional premises cultivation for Pure Medical LLC as a modification of premises. So with those notes, I move to approve today's agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next, we will move on to the consent agenda. As Commissioner Bell noted, we do have another public hearing on March 13th. We'll make 3 for that day. And so is there any other comments on consent agenda?
No, Mr. Chair, with that, I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Motion carries.
We'll move into administrative and informational. Staff and elected officials. We'll move to our county manager's report. Turn to Sunny Bryant. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So just a couple of quick notes. On Tuesday, February 13th, we met with Chief Del Vecchio from the Fire Protection District. We had a discussion on the Gallagher Amendment and the residential assessment rate formula. And so anybody that follows Tabor and any of that, the residential assessment rate decreased this year, which impacted anybody that collects property taxes. So it's something we're keeping an eye on, because over the years, if that continues to decrease, it could substantially hurt a lot of the entities that have property taxes that they collect. So it's something that I know CCI is working on, the Special Districts Associations are working on, the Fire Protection District Associations are working on that. So We'll keep anybody updated that is interested in that area. On Thursday, February 15th, Commissioner Bell, Rod Potter, and I attended the Penrose Chamber of Commerce meeting, so it's always good to get out and see what all is going on in the Penrose community. On Thursday, February 15th, Commissioner Payne, Rod Potter, and I attended the Central Peaks Regional Council Town Hall meeting, which was put on by El Pomar. So it was good to meet with various individuals in the community, see what some projects are that may be beneficial to the community, and then they actually had some suggestions that they'll come forward with funding sources that may also be available. On Wednesday, February 21st, we met with an individual from CDOT who actually was coming down to give us a little bit more information about the Bustang Outrider service. And it's actually it's a bus route that's going to be going from, actually throughout Colorado. There's various different areas that they'll be traveling. And this one that will pass through Canyon City and Penrose goes from Alamosa to Pueblo. And so that's information will be forthcoming. Once we get maps and definite timelines, we'll post that all on the county website and on the Facebook page as well. And then on Thursday, March 22nd, Tammy Childs and I attended mock interviews at the Florence High School. So it's always good to get into those groups and actually meet with some of the students that are coming through the program. And
That was probably February 22nd.
I'm sorry. Yes, we're not into March yet. A month from now. So yes, February 22nd, we did those interviews.
All the weird looks you were getting.
And that's, like I said, it's always good to get out there and help those students prepare. And then that same day, Rod Potter and I attended the quarterly finance luncheon. So it's always good to see what else is going on in the other entities in the community. That's all I have for that report.
Okay, then we'll move into sales and use tax report.
Okay, so for sales and use tax, so the retail sales tax collections in the month of December, we collected $399,257, which is up $9,400 from December of last year. So year to date, we increased by $199,859, which was $293,941 above budget. The construction use tax, so we received all of those payments, and in December we collected $39,380, which is up $21,553 from December of last year. And year to date, we are up $82,202, which is an increase of $101,974 above budget. And just a reminder that of those two, 75% of that goes to general fund and 25% goes to the sales and use tax fund, which is what we use to pay off our certificates of participation. The lodging tax in December collected $23,684, which year to date we are up $25,558. And then the sheriff's 1% retail sales tax collected $266,171 in December, which is up $6,324 from December of last year. Year to date, it's up $133,240. And that is $195,961 above what we budgeted. And then last, the construction use tax collections in December were up we collected $26,253 for the sheriff, which is up $14,389 from December of last year. Year to date, we're up $53,414, which is $82,104 above budget. So that's all I have.
Okay. Any comments?
Yeah, it's always good to see construction use tax up. That means there's some activity happening with building and stuff, so that's a good thing.
So, good. Thank you, Sunny.
Thank you.
All right, anybody else have any comments?
Couple of quick notes.
Okay.
I just wanted to mention that we had the opportunity last week to attend a couple of important dinners. We were at the Penrose Chamber dinner and Chamber of Commerce, as well as the Florence Chamber of Commerce. And there were some really wonderful awards that were given out that night. One of our recipients is even here with us in our audience this morning. So congratulations to Penrose Citizen, Citizen of the Year, Tina Hefner, and the Penrose Business of the Year went to Quick Stop. And for Florence, not senior, but Citizen of the Year went to Dick Upton. They gave 2 awards to businesses. Their first was to the Merchant of the Year, which went to Heartland Enterprises. And the second was the Business of the Year, which went to Papa's Pizza Restaurant. So congratulations to all of you.
Okay, anything else? You good? I just want to tag on to County Manager Sonny Bryant when she was talking about the Gallagher Amendment and Chief DeVecchio's concerns. Chief DeVecchio and I are going to travel to Denver on Thursday to meet with Senator Grantham, along with a bunch of other fire chiefs on Thursday to discuss this issue. It's a pretty important issue, and so we'll see what we can come up with those conversations. So anyway, nothing else, we'll move on. Citizens who wish to address the commissioners on matters not scheduled on the agenda. Do we have anybody that wants to tell us good morning or anything? Okay, don't see any. So, no old business, we'll move right into new business. Number one is the liquor license transfer, Pester Marketing Company doing business Alta Convenience. We should have Gabriel Gardner here, see what you have to come up with.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, what do we have going here? Having a liquor transfer, do you have anything to?
Yeah, I can fill you on the details. So I'm with Alta Convenience, or Pester Marketing Company. We're based out of Denver. In the past month, we've actually taken over 52 locations throughout the state of Colorado, Nebraska, and Oklahoma, or I'm sorry, Kansas. We are new to the area. I was just relocated myself. I currently live in the county now. We've been operating since the beginning of January. January 3rd is the takeover. As far as the liquor aspect of it goes, I know that's our concern here today. We have a very comprehensive training program that we include all of. It's a mandatory program, computer-based training. We include all of our new hires, and we reapply the training periodically for all of our employees. It takes about 4 to 6 hours. Let's see, it's sponsored by NACS, and we also are, NACS is the National Association of Convenience Stores, and we also have follow-through periodic monthly inspections done by a third party, which is the BARS program, which is sponsored by the state. We haven't had any violations, state or federal violations, for over 4 years now, and we just surpassed the 110th location mark. So
110?
yeah, 110
Wow.
locations now throughout the states of Washington and New Mexico. Most of our locations are in the state of Colorado, Nebraska, and Kansas now. So,
Okay.
if you have any questions in particular about the stores or operating hours, I'd be happy. Our employees, I'd be happy to discuss them with you.
I have no questions, but I have a comment. Since you're taking over pretty much all of the quick stops here in Fremont County, you have big shoes to fill. I'm pretty sure that you know that. But the McAllisters and their employees were always very good partners here in the community, and we're able to do a lot of really great things for the community here in Fremont County, cities, towns, everyone here. So I just want to let you know you have some big shoes to fill, but welcome. We're happy to have you here.
I'm so happy to be here, and to be honest, hearing that means a lot to us. I've met with the McAllisters and Alan Drake, who's actually the owner of number 8 there that we're have on the agenda today. And I think one of the biggest things that I'm looking forward to is becoming a productive member of this community in general. So if you guys ever have, I'll leave you my cards if you ever have any ideas or anything. We've already been reaching out to some of the local groups, the Florence Christian School. We've got Girl Scouts coming in at all of our locations this week and stuff, but I'd be happy. I think you have my card already, so if you guys have any ideas where we can become involved, I'm meeting with the Florence High School football coach, I think, next week. So if you have any ideas where we can help out with the community, we'd be happy to be involved. So,
We probably do have some ideas, so
great.
thank you so
I'll
much.
make sure I have some cards on me. I'll
Okay.
leave them for you, and if there's anything that you guys ever need or have any concerns at all, please feel free to give me a call on the cell phone.
That'd be
Okay.
great. Thank you.
All right. Turn to a staff report on this.
Good morning.
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 Both applications for transfer are in order. Because it's a transfer, there was no need for postings or publications. Both premises have been inspected, and both premises are as presented according to the map. And both temporary licenses were posted in plain view, and our office does recommend approval.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other comments, questions?
The only questions that I really had, I believe you've already answered, sir. I was going to ask you about training for your employees because that is of utmost importance to us.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've made it a priority as a company, so.
Okay, good to know.
Well,
Thank
our
you.
training location will actually be for all of Fremont County. We're gonna set up at location 3 there in Florence, and all of the employees, it should happen within the next month here, all of the employees will be initiated, as you can say.
Yes, sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Wishes?
You might want to talk about the bus staying at their stores, just briefly.
Well, has CDOT, Colorado Department of Transportation, been in contact with you guys about their bus staying program?
Not that I'm familiar with. I know in the past there was something where they could purchase tickets or something like that at location 2 at Hank's Travel Plaza there, but I'm not familiar and I haven't been contacted at all by anybody.
Well, I think they're getting in motion, as Sonny mentioned a while ago, and probably the kind of everybody agrees the best place in Canyon City is Hank's Travel Plaza. And then as well, they're about to have a meeting with the citizens of Penrose over there, and probably the best stop there is also the location. Yeah, and currently or before now, there has been a shuttle, Chaffee County shuttle, I think is what they called it, and it came from Salida and came through, and it did stop there. I don't know the particulars about the tickets, but I believe that'll be something that you'll probably be hearing about pretty quick. Is there's got to be room for a big bus to turn around. I think he said there were 40-foot buses. I think
that's right.
something like that. Which there's ample location in both, or ample
both locations.
space in both locations. So that's something that you might be heads up about, because I assume they'll be getting in contact you with, because that's the suggestions that have been made to them as a place to stop.
Okay, and I'll let my managers and staff know that if they're contacted personally, they need to pass that information on.
They actually could be looking for the appropriate contact. So we have the contact information for the gentleman we spoke with. So maybe we'll have Sonny send your personal contact to him.
Sure.
So he'll know who he needs to get in touch with.
And
Okay,
and
that'd be
the day that we met with them, the Denver address is what we had, that Brenda gave to the guy from CDOT that came and talked to us. So they are reaching out, but they may reach out to the Denver office. So
Okay, I'll check with compliance. She's probably the one that everybody goes to when it comes to contracts and things like that.
They're looking at a May 1st start date.
right.
Okay.
Okay.
And if you don't mind me asking, I don't want to hold up your time. Do you know, will that bus be running all night and all evening?
It's a round trip daily, and it goes from the Sunny said Alamosa to Pueblo, and then it goes back. Now, time-wise, we don't know yet,
Okay.
but it's a daily round trip.
But it's during the day. They're not nighttime
Okay,
trips.
so
Right.
there's no overnight.
Correct.
stops and things
No.
like that.
Yes,
Not
correct.
to our knowledge.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, Mr. Chair, I am prepared to make a motion.
Okay.
I move to approve a liquor license transfer per Peaster Marketing Company doing business as Alta Convenience 6328, which is currently known as Quick Stop Number 8, at 1410 Elm Avenue for a 3.2% retail beer license.
Second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Motion carries.
So we move on to item number 2, which is another liquor license transfer. This is the Apple Valley Liquor. This is a 6% retail liquor store. And we're assuming that the same training is going on with this as the other one,
Yes,
along with the rest of your stores. Okay? So staff report, same thing?
Yep.
Okay? All right. Anything else?
No, I think they both addressed both applications
we have.
very well to begin with.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have anything either, other than a motion, Mr. Chair.
That would be great.
I move to approve the license, liquor license transfer to Pester Marketing Corporation of Apple Valley Liquor, which is a 6.0% retail liquor store at 916 Highway 115 in Penrose.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
And again, welcome to our community. We look for great things in the future.
Yeah, I look forward to being, like I said, a productive, active member of the community. So thank you.
Outstanding. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we move on to item number 3. It's OPC 17-001 for JMC Enterprises. This is an optional premise cultivation license. This is a renewal. And do we have Jeff Kane? We do. Good
Morning.
morning. What
Good
can
morning.
you tell us about this?
Basically, second year renewal on the OPC. Everything we've, kind of gone by, met a few obstacles to get this approved. Addition of a septic, some dirt work for drainage, and now everything's in line, so we're just looking to start the second year.
Okay. Any comments or questions?
So the septic system has been installed and inspected?
Yes, ma'am, it has been inspected, approved,
Okay.
by the building department.
Okay. Move on to a staff report. Matt?
All right. They did make a complete application on this. At the time, they were still working on the septic, but it has been installed and approved and inspected, so that's all good to go. Code enforcement has visited the site several times over the year. We have had no concerns or complaints on the site. It's been run based on their application. They have complied with everything. The one thing you were approved for back then was I believe two greenhouses. You haven't installed those yet, correct?
No, sir.
Okay, what are your plans on those?
We're hoping to get to work on those this spring. Basically just ran into money issues.
Okay, yeah, so the original application did include the two greenhouses, which is inside the grow area, so it doesn't really impact anything. After review, we do find it a complete application, and we do recommend approval of the renewal.
Yeah, I think, Matt, that was worth noting that those are not two new greenhouses. They were on the original application.
Correct.
I want to make sure that was plain. Okay.
Do you have any anticipation that your lease won't be renewed? It's up April 1st.
No, ma'am.
Oh, so everything's all right there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay. Any further questions? Entertain a motion.
All right, Mr. Chair, I'm prepared to make a motion.
Okay.
I move to approve OPC 17-001, the renewal of the license for JMC Enterprises doing business as Fremont County Cannabis. I would like to point out this is south of Florence off of Siloam Road, and it could be simply because of the location, but we never have had a complaint about your organization or your location, and I just would like to say thank you.
Glad to hear that.
So we appreciate that, maybe more than you know.
Yeah, really appreciate that, not getting any complaints. And I second that motion.
Okay, it's,
It's a new experience, right?
it's been moved and seconded. Do we have any further discussion on this? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to item number 4, which is our accountability report. I want to thank Rod Potter for putting this together. That was, it's always a major job. Appreciate that. And, okay, we got it up. And to start this off, Commissioner Bell will start off.
So just a couple of words first about the reason why we choose to do an accountability report. The commissioners, for the last, I think this is the 4th year that we've done it, we just believe that we need to be as open and honest and transparent in our communications with our citizens as we possibly can be. We decided 4 years ago that we could do a better job by completing an accountability report and making it available not only by presenting it here today, we present it every year at one of our meetings, but we also have it available online. If you don't have access online, you can come into our offices. We'll be happy to let you take a look. I just think, as well as my fellow commissioners, it's just a very important thing to let Fremont County know exactly what it is that we do with all of the tax money that we collect every year. So here goes our 2017 report. So this is a list of your elected officials for Fremont County. You can see all of us listed there. And you might recognize some of those folks. So this was our Employee of the Year. One of the most fun things that we have the opportunity to do every year is to select an Employee of the Year from the folks who are nominated by their peers here in Fremont County. This year, I believe we had a record number of nominations. I think we had 21 different people who were nominated. Some of those folks had multiple nominations. So it truly was a pleasure to see and to be able to read all of the reasons why our employees appreciate each other the way that they do. And our winner for Employee of the Year was Sid Darden. Sid is our environmental manager. He has done an amazing job here in the county for many, many years. And after he won this, he announced he's looking at retirement. So we all kind of said, well, wait a minute. So is that what you were waiting for? If we would have known that, Sid, we would have never selected you to receive this award. So anyway, congratulations, Sid. It's a pleasure working with you. So the Honorable Judge Richard Mandel here is swearing in our new commissioner, Dwayne McFall, as he joins the board in January of 2017. And Commissioner Tim Payne was reappointed and elected in for a second term, so he also was sworn in. So some of the commissioner accomplishments over the year, we participated in the creation of a sobering center. This is a place for folks to go who just need sobered up. They don't need additional medical attention. There is medical staff available in case something does happen, but they've already been checked out by hospital staff, and they actually are ready to go and sober up a little bit. In addition to that, we created a new position here in Fremont County to provide a care manager to folks who come to our sobering center to offer them assistance in getting clean and in getting straight and in changing their lives. So we're all really proud of this accomplishment last year. We also created a security committee that is composed of mostly of line staff here in Fremont County to look at the safety and security in all of our county buildings. We have some issues with most of the buildings, mainly here at our administration building at 615 Macon. We also reorganized our county administration department. Thank you so much to our county manager, Sonny Bryant, who came to us with some really great ideas, and I think it's worked out very, very well. Also, with a lot of help from Sonny, we developed a very productive internship program, and we have been using interns over the year from the Department of Human Services, from local high schools and colleges, and now we have one with us from the military. So we're pleased to have this program and hope to see it to continue. Okay, so we'll look at a couple of things from budget and finance. So there are all of the numbers, and they're pretty small right there, a little bit hard to see, but if you want to take a look at it online, what you're going to find is that we had a pretty darn good year in 2017. This is the budget versus actual, and this isn't an estimate of what our expenditures and our revenues were over the year.
Okay.
My turn, huh?
You're up.
So we start off with the Fremont County Sheriff, Jim Biker, of course, is the sheriff. The detention center upgrades, use of the $5 million in certificates of participation to renovate the detention center, kitchen and laundry area, as well as doing security upgrades, which these were long overdue. It was a terrible kitchen out there and terrible facility. So here's some pictures of the before and after. It's made it much more economical, much more easy to use. Before they had one big wash machine, and it took forever to get everything going. So these are great upgrades that happened out there at the Sheriff's Department.
This is part of the 1 cent sales tax.
Part of the 1 cent sales tax, right, that was passed by voters. There's the kitchen before and after. It's a state-of-the-art kitchen, very easy to use, very attractive. It's a really good addition out there.
And it's safe. The kitchen
Yeah.
previously was a little bit less than
Right.
safe, I think.
It was. It's pretty amazing out there. The Department of Transportation, Tony Ademick is the director out there. Here's some of the stuff that they completed, the projects they completed in 2017. As you can see, they're all over the county, from the west end to the east end, north and south. There's chip seal projects, asphalt. They've always had to clean out cattle guards and culverts. Concrete pans put in because of erosion and water flowing. I was looking, there was one thing, it's on the next slide, I think. So they do a lot of work out there. Here, this is the water that they use in certain areas, and the water that you see them putting on the roads as they're grading and stuff, that helps compact the roads and make them last longer with the grading that they do on them. There is the FEMA events, the floods that we had in 2013, which washed out Phantom Canyon Road?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get those confused sometimes, Phantom Canyon, but washed it out. We finally got that fixed, finally got paid back for that from FEMA. Some of the small projects were all completed. They work with DHS, the Weed Department, Garden Park, Florence Landfill. Right away, of course, they check out the permits for driveway accesses and street cuts where people have to get into the middle of the street for utilities. That's pretty impressive up there, that top number, 497 days without time lost due to injury. These guys work well together, they work safe, they watch out for each other. It's pretty interesting if you ever get a chance to go out while they're working on a project and just watch them work. It's a really, really good team out there. There's some of the upgrades in the vehicles, and then, of course, the vehicles that were turned over and sold. A few of them donated. The rodeo. This is once a year they have this event. They invite employees from surrounding counties that also come down and compete. It's pretty touchy there. You can see on the little excavator, it's pretty tedious work that these guys do. They have to pick up certain obstacles and move them, and these are timed events. Usually have this out here at Pathfinder Park. It's very interesting. It's probably more of a participation sport than a spectator sport, but if you get a chance, go check it out this summer when they have it. I believe it's usually in June.
It's at the fair, July.
It's during
July?
county fair.
In the fair, okay. It's a fun time to watch.
Okay, then we'll move on to the Fremont County Airport. Dick Baker is our director out there. We had two projects with the apron and taxiway, the Crackville and Fox Hill, the Pappy. Those were lights, runway lights, I believe. Is that right? Yeah. And so the total on those two projects, like $422,000. The county had to kick in, a little over $20,000 on that. So our rate of return on that was excellent, and we got these two major projects done. And then with the Division of Fire Prevention Control, we signed a 5-year contract with them, and they began operations last year. But this was a huge thing for us to get them out there. It's a more centralized situation for all the firefighters and for the fire prevention. And this has been a good partnership with them. And then, as you can see, we also did with AT&T cell tower. Our planning and zoning department, Matt Koch, he's our director. These guys had a busy year. I won't go through all the statistics there, but you can see they had quite the busy year. And we actually hired another code enforcement officer this year. And so now we're up to 3 of those guys. And we keep them fairly busy. These are you can see the inspections they've done, different things between medical marijuana, special review of use. They just go through all kinds of stuff. These are some land use issues, zoning violations. Like I say, we just keep them real busy. And just something to note that our marijuana violations is actually going down, which is a really good thing. Citizens keep us really informed about what's going on out there and keep these guys busy, but to see the violations go down it's heading in the right direction. Special mobile machinery, they do these inspections. It's something they do every year, and these are like for contractors that have heavy equipment. Here's some summaries. I found a note on that one, 100% of the marijuana-related cases are closed. I think that's a huge statistic there that they took care of. The Helping Hands, these are cleanup projects that they do. The Helping Hands comes out of our tipping fees, which comes from the landfill folks, the trash folks that take the landfills. We get tipping fees, which pays for some of these projects like this and also for our recycling projects. But I know our guys will even take a Saturday of their own time and go out there and help these folks clean these areas up, and it's pretty impressive, these before and afters. There's again some more before and afters and some of the stuff they've done. Say they just do a great job. Total cost $13,000. Like I say, it comes out of our tipping fees, and most of that is with is for the dumpsters that they take out there and have the folks fill up. Like I said, our guys have taken a Saturday of their own time and help kids, or not kids, but people. We've had kids help too, actually volunteer. Okay.
I'm up again.
Yes, you are.
So I have the pleasure of talking about our Department of Human Services, which is amazing. I think they do such a great job for not only children, but for all of the families here in Fremont County. So Steve Clifton was the director. Some of the highlights this year were the Child Abuse Prevention and Awareness Month in April. We all went out and participated in building the second living blue ribbon photo that you see there on the left. We did pinwheels. We actually had a Pinwheels for Prevention event in Florence as well as in Canyon City this year. And I'm really proud of my District 2 in Florence because we had a higher attendance than showed up here in Canyon City. So I just have to mention that for a moment. Family and Children's Services, one of the coolest things that they did this year is they were selected as one of the artists' crews to be able to participate in the Dino Days public artwork event. And so they drew this up and they were selected to be able to receive one of the dinosaurs. DHS folks actually created this, and her name is Hope. And Hope has just a lot of really cool family things. And so if you take a good look at her, she sits right now in front of our DHS building out on Justice Center Road. If you take a look at her, you can see kids' handprints, you can see depictions of families. There are just all kinds of things there that refer back to the programs that we offer. Also, November is always the National Adoption Day celebration. So this year we had a big celebration with a lot of kids. I was able to be there and saw how excited some of these kids were, saw some of the pictures, the official portraits that were happening with children and their new forever families, and it was really an incredible day. They hosted a movie event in May in conjunction with a grant, so they presented a superhero movie event for the foster and kinship care families. So they all got to dress up as their favorite heroes, and they got to do pictures again. They had door prizes, fed them lunch, and then they got to see the movie The Incredibles. One Caring Adult was presented in September by a gentleman named Josh Shipp, who is a motivational speaker. He travels at least nationwide. Maybe he does some international things by now. He actually is a product of foster care, and he talked for a very long time about what his life was like before he found that one caring adult and what a difference that gentleman made in his life. So he does this tour he calls One Caring Adult, and his message is, all it takes to make a difference in the life of a child is one caring adult. I think it was a really great lesson, and I think a lot of people that night truly took it to heart. The department also participated in many different community events by having informational tables there with information about some of the different programs that they have. And foster recruitment, as always, we always have an ongoing need for foster parents here in Fremont County. So they participated in some different events and put on Fremont County Fair Kids Day as another recruitment activity for folks to truly understand how desperately foster care is needed here in Fremont County. Some other things that happened, they hosted a cold weather tree in the lobby. So employees donated hats, scarves, and gloves that were available to the public, to anyone who needed them. Donations came from partners. There was, again, a Lions Club Kinship and Foster Christmas party. That's always a really great event. All of the kids show up and get gifts from Santa and Mrs. Claus. There also was the 4th annual Christmas party as a visitation event this year, and special guests there included not only Santa, but the Grinch. He was probably as popular as Santa was. So we turn next to the Fremont County Building Department. This is directed by Mike Cox, our building official, who has been here in the county for some time. does a really great job for us. This is information on all of the building permits that were issued. 685 were issued this year total, which is 6% up from last year. 55 of those were new single-family stick-framed dwellings. 21 were manufactured home placements, 16 commercial use, and then 120 septic permits, 13 demolition permits. And total construction value was over $20 million here in Fremont County in 2017. We have some information here on the inspections. We have 2 inspectors for Fremont County who do a great job. Between them, they traveled 31,000 miles to do 1,802 inspections, which was a 15% increase from 2006. We had no appeals filed to our Board of Appeals, but nevertheless, they held their 3 mandatory meetings this year, and there were some other activities in the building department this year, including 3 stop work orders, 2 of which ended up resulting in permits. Here's some budget information for the building department.
My turn again. All right, the Fremont County Public Health and Environmental Health Agency. The director is Emma Davis. Keep in mind that most of the funding from the health department over there comes from grants. They do a real good job of reaching out to find grants for different things. Here's the chronic disease capacity grant. Again, another grant, maternal health grant, to help with maternal depressions, trying to keep pregnant women off of tobacco and that type of stuff. It's a pretty great deal there. Communities of Care was a program that started a little over a year ago. There's committees in Florence, and which is Eastern Fremont, and Canyon City. These are made up of people, vast variety of people throughout the county to help advise and figure out how to help with the youth.
And that was one that Commissioner Bell really took under her wing and helped form that CTC.
The Vital Statistics Program, if you need your birth certificate or death certificate, you can get that over here across the street at the Garden Park building. They do 100% compliance in that. That was something that was brought up a few months ago, 100% compliance in that. They do a really, really great job of that, and it's a quick turnaround, so that's outstanding. The immunization program, as you know, this year you keep seeing on the news the flu virus. You see there they did 931 flu vaccines as of December 31st. There's kind of I don't know if it's as bad here as it is in some parts of the world, but a lot of people have taken advantage of that. The STEP prescription drug overdose program. I think that's another something that we don't see a lot of. As we pay attention, there is a lot more overdoses in the community than we know of. So it's great that there's outreach specialists being trained to try to thwart some of these overdoses. Public Health and Environmental Health Agency. Okay, the retail food establishments, as you know, those are inspected by the health department twice yearly. Also, the school inspections, child care inspections, temporary events where you get the events happening. There's a food booth. Sid, who was Employee of the Year, currently goes out and checks those locations and makes sure that they're safe for the health by the health code. The water system inspections. As you can tell at the bottom there, the zoonosis, I guess is what that is. The bats, the cats, the skunks. There were some that were found dead. They were sent in for testing for rabies, and as you can see, they were all negative, but they still need to check those when that happens. There's kind of a unique story there on the bottom. A family of 9, they had bats in their house, and they all had to go through the series of bat tests, which is a grueling process from what I understand, because it's a series of bat tests, yeah, turn into bats like Batman. A rabies test, thank you. It's like,
That's what we keep a county attorney around for. She keeps us honest.
So that part of the deal was part of the family was out of state in South Carolina, I believe. Yeah. So Matthew, who worked over at the health department at the time, reached out to South Carolina. The family was able to follow up on their series of shots while out of state. So they do reach out and try to help people as much as they can. That's a pretty good outcome. The family turned out that none of them had rabies, thank goodness, with the shot. So everything worked out good there. Fremont County Weed Management. Now, this is noxious weeds. Noxious weeds, partner with private land donors. There's a lot of research. The Upper Arkansas Water Conservancy, governmental agencies, BLM, NRCS, lots of different agencies get together. There's a lot of noxious weeds in Fremont County that some people aren't aware of. Actually, some people use them as ornamentals. CSU Extension, 2017. Tommy Covington was the director. He has just recently retired and will be missed in the works of replacing him through CSU. But the 4-H program is an outstanding program. As you can see right there, there's 300 youth in the clubs, and the amount of projects that they've competed in. Sorry,
no,
I just couldn't get competed out. The fair entries, the open division, as you can see, open division, 196. The 4-H entries, 297. So that's a lot of youth participating in those programs. The county fair had an outstanding year this year with a sale with 54 buyers. $152,000, a little over $152,000 was raised. This fair wouldn't go off without these gracious buyers that show up every year and spend money on these kids' projects. Without them, this couldn't happen at all. It's really great to see the community come together, and all to take note there. So it's good to have these buyers come to the fair. The Master Gardener program down at CSU, these guys are the professional gardeners. There's a lot of backyard gardening going on. If you have any questions, go down to CSU and they can fix you up with some ideas. Pathfinder Park. As you can see, the arena out there is used 67 evenings. There's different organizations that rent that out for the evenings or for the weekends. There's horse shows. We've had the rodeos out there during the fair, the junior and the ranch rodeo, and the equipment rodeo. So that gets used quite a bit. We need to get that out there and get it used more by the people of Fremont County. Emergency management.
I believe that's mine.
Is that you?
That is mine. And as you can see, Steve Morrissey, he is retiring as the director of our emergency management. Jill Filer will take over. She started yesterday. I assume she showed up for a second day?
No, she's at a training, actually.
She's at a training.
For the next 3 days. So.
All right.
Don't ever assume anything, Commissioner Payne.
But Steve has always done a great job. Jill's going to have big shoes to fill there. This is a lot of work that the public doesn't really see. He just behind the scenes kind of stuff. One thing that he's really worked on this past year is the Hayden Pass flooding, getting state funds and federal funds to try to work together and actually talk to each other. And Commissioner McFall has been involved with that quite a bit, and Steve's put a lot of time in on that. And you can see all the other stuff that Steve's gotten into. Like I say, Jill has big shoes to fill, but we expect big things out of her. And then our Fremont County Clerk and Recorders Department. Kate Kirsch, she was promoted to Motor Vehicle Director. Dottie, celebrating 10 years there in that office. And Carrie, Jessica, Gina, Jenna, and Courtney, new additions to the department on the motor vehicle side. And got a new self-service renewal kiosk. I believe County Manager Bryant was the very first one to use that.
And if I can use it, anybody can use it.
So don't wait in line. Come use the kiosk.
In the recording department, Kathy Babb joined the recording team, and you can see some of the statistics there on that department. And then the elections department. This is it's amazing with the things that these guys have to work on, because something's always changing, it seems like. And you know, the state will change things. the way we have to do things. So these guys, they're amazing. It's just not the one-day election. It's a year-round thing, and they're pretty impressive. Jamie does a great job in that department. Yeah. And then you see some of the collections that was made at the recorder, the revenue for the fees collected, how that's gone up. Had a good year last year. Our county coroner, you go down and talk to him, and it's you like to talk to him, but if you ask him if he had a good day, it's usually not a good day because he's dealing with people's families on their worst day, and so it's always you kind of go in there just real softly, just to visit with him. Yeah, some of his statistics and what he's come up with, and I know he's worked real hard on suicide and suicide preventions. And he's one thing that we got was getting recouped expenses with the Department of Corrections and also the Federal Bureau of Prisons. He's worked hard to get the recoup some costs out there for deaths out there in custody, and he's done a good job with that. And again, some more statistics on what he's, like I said, he's working hard on suicide prevention. And then one thing that he was working on was making sure that funeral home utilizations is 50-50 with Harwood and Holt. And so you can see that 29 apiece on last year. And so he's done that 50-50 split on that. Our treasurer, Kathy Elliott, and her department. And one of the key highlights, especially on the public trustee side, is the foreclosures, with 94 foreclosures. During the recession years of 2009, that figure was 365. So you can see how far down that's come, and that's a reflection on, I think, a growing economy here in Fremont County. 2016, it was 110, 2015, 131. So it keeps going down on that foreclosure side there. And that was it. Awesome job, Rod.
Yeah, thank you, Rod. You guys have any questions?
Okay.
I would just like to take a moment, no questions, Mr. Chair, but I would just like to take a moment to thank not only Rod, what a massive amount of information is compiled for this, but for all of our department heads and our other elected officials who chose to participate in this. It's a lot of work for a lot of people, and I just want to say really great job. Again, I think this is very important for us to be able to do for the citizens of Fremont County, so thank you all.
Okay.
And I just kind of want to add on to that it's just a snapshot of what all these departments do. There's so much more that they do, so reach out to all them and thank them.
Okay. Thank you. Yes?
I just want to say, I think it was incredible. You guys have done an awesome job, and it's really inspirational to the rest of the organizations out here. We are going to create one, obviously not to this magnitude, but I want to thank you. This is great.
Okay. Thanks, Tina.
Thank you so much.
Okay, we'll move on to item number 5, approval of an intergovernment agreement between Upper Arkansas Area Council of Governments and participating counties regarding regional housing study. We turn to you, Dwayne?
No,
Sonny?
Sonny and Debbie attended.
So Commissioner Bell and I actually attended a meeting about a month ago with the Council of Governments, Custer County and Park County. So those are the 3 counties that are involved in this. And we're looking at a study that will look at the entire needs of the county, and then looking at, City of Florence, City of Canyon City, to really break out on every single level, not just affordable housing, but if there's, different levels of housing that are needed. So this is an agreement with COG to be the, basically the main entity that's involved in that, and then the county is one of the entities that are participating. They're looking at getting a consultant to come in and do this study. There is grant funds to pay for half of it, and then the 3 counties and municipalities will be responsible for paying for the other half.
One thing I would add to that, one note I'd like to make is, I think this is a very important study because we already know that Fremont County has a housing shortage problem, but this is going to tell us exactly where, because we also know that it's not just affordable housing that we need. We need housing across the spectrum, and this study actually is going to determine which levels we need new houses at, which in turn, the reason we're doing it, will make it easier for developers to come in because they already will have the studies done. They will know the types of housing that is needed here in Fremont County, and I think it will make it a lot easier for us to be able to attract those people to come in, build some new housing for us.
Okay.
There is, but I don't recall what it is. I know that we've had the conversation, but I do not recall what the end date for the study will be.
I don't either, but it's going to be soon because I think there's a deadline that they have, so it's got to start and happen real soon.
It's
so
a
we should
very
know.
quick
Yeah,
turnaround.
it's a real quick turnaround.
Late this summer, maybe later this summer. Yeah.
Okay, entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I will move to approve an intergovernmental agreement between the Upper Arkansas Area Council of Governments and participating counties regarding the regional housing study.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Do we have any further comments on this? Roll call, please.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, we'll move on to item number 6, a resolution and letter of support with a $3,000 funding commitment to participate in the Colorado Department of Higher Education's Colorado Opportunity Scholarship Initiative. Once again, I believe we'll turn to Sonny Bryant and Commissioner Bell.
And actually, Commissioner McFall has recently been appointed to this group, so there's
Commissioner
multiple
Bell
people
was
involved
involved
in
with
this.
We got to
Indeed, I
keep him on
was.
his toes up here.
You guys keep changing things on me.
This was discussed at a Wednesday morning meeting, Mr. Chair.
I do actually have the resolution in the letter, as we all do, but I believe Commissioner Bell can probably do a little better job of explaining this than I can. I'm familiar with it, but she's a little more familiar, so I will turn it over to Commissioner Bell.
So I wasn't all wrong.
That's right.
Well, surprise. Thanks for warning me. Sure, I can talk a little bit about COSI and what COSI is. So the state of Colorado has a grant fund called the Colorado Opportunity Scholarship Initiative, COSI, which is where we get the name COSI from. It matches scholarship money that goes to students who are available for low-income reasons. So in matching that money, the county also decided to start an initial or an original new scholarship program to give to students that then would receive a match from COSI. So not only are we starting, or we already did a couple of years ago with former Commissioner Ed Norton's help, we started a new scholarship program for students here in Fremont County who are going on to higher education to match that, but also any other scholarship that is given here in Fremont County could be eligible for this match fund. We work very closely with all of the schools in the area, so all of the counselors know about the scholarship, who is available, what it's available for, who might be able to take advantage of it. So what we are doing with this is we are committing the $3,000 that we do have in our budget this year to participate in this Department of Higher Education's COSI initiative.
Well, for winging it, you did a pretty good job.
Thank you.
And that is just one, the $3,000 that the county puts in there, that's just one source of funding. They also have a golf tournament every year to try to increase the funds in this account. So there is a lot of community involvement in this.
Okay.
So with that, Mr. Chair, I move to approve resolution number 7 and the letter of support along with a $3,000 funding commitment for COSI in 2018.
I second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item number 7, which we have discussed, is the continuation of the public hearings that was set for today, will be 10 a.m. on March 13th. And with that, I don't believe we have any further business coming before this board.
Do we need to take a vote on this?
Do we?
I
On
would
the
assume.
continuation?
I would
Just a
assume.
vote to set 'em.
I guess we did, so we need to vote. Thank you for setting
So-
us straight on that. Okay.
With that, Mr. Chair, I will
is an action
move,
item.
I will move to approve moving these public hearings that were set for today at 10 a.m. to March 13th at 10 a.m. They include OPC 14-002, High Mountain Meds, and modification of premise.
And the second one is amendments to the zoning resolution.
Oh, there it is. Yes, it is.
Okay, I
Amendments
second
to
that.
zoning resolutions.
Okay, now that we're all set, you got me straight, so we're good shape here. It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Bells?
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Now, with no further business coming before the board, we are adjourned.
Yes, so I closed out with these two, we closed out auto use tax last meeting, so this, this one.
Okay. So I was I was looking at kind of a year end.
Okay.
And I noticed the sheriff